DDP Sean Strickland. So what are the positives here? I always try to see everything positive. Positives are DDP proved all the naysayers wrong by including. I wasn't a naysayer. I just had questions about his cardio. His coach saying he can only breathe 5% out of his nose, whatever he said. I thought that seemed a little fishy. Turns out they weren't lying. They weren't fibbing. This dude went 5 rounds, championship rounds with a pretty insane pace, pretty high output rate as well against a guy who's the cardio king in Sean Strickland. So cardio is not an issue for DDP in any facet. Do I have a problem with DDP winning the fight? No, nobody was robbed. Looking at the fight again on my scorecards, had Sean Strickland. Thought he won 3. Probably give him 1, 2, and 5. 1, 2, and 5. The combi strike numbers, obviously you don't want to lean into that. But 183 total strikes to 140, 173 to 137,
Significant.
157 headshots to 81. Body, DDP wins there. Legs, DDP wins there. Controlled with the takedowns, did nothing with the takedowns. I see the comment there. Dricus also had 6 takedowns. Yeah, but what's a takedown if you don't do anything with it? I think we put too much emphasis on takedowns, especially if the guy doesn't do anything with it. If the guy stands back up right away, defends it, that should count as well. But no one was robbed. There's robberies. Johnny Hendricks, GSP. There's definitely robberies. Patty Pimlet, his fight against Gordon, that'd probably be a robbery. This here, close fight. I can see how you give it to DDP. That being said, I would give the champ the nod here. Strickland complained of a headbutt. When you see it, things happen. Things happen. It's not like DDP had a game plan to headbutt him, open up his eye. That happens. Am I off on this? I thought it was one of Strickland's worst performances. It was still a close fight. I thought Strickland, he just never got going. And I kept saying, Rogan's like, well, it's a tough fight. I'm like, no, I know all Strickland's fights are tough. I get that. He just never seemed to have that Strickland magic. He never got off the starting gates. The momentum never came. The relentless, the way he breaks dudes mentally, it just never got going. He was winning and he was doing well, but I just never saw him kick into that 5th gear and really try and take over. Then you saw he did have some reserves in the tank there in the 5th, because he opened up in the 5th, which he definitely won. There's no doubt, even if you hate Strickland, let's say you're far left and hate Strickland, can't stand anything he does, anything he says, there's no doubt, even if you don't have a trained eye for fighting, that you'd give Strickland 1 and 5. You tell me you can't find a round for him 2, 3, and 4? So first round he did good. 5th round he kind of opened up, let loose a little more, had more success. That 5th round energy, I wish he would have done 2, 3, and 4. Not saying he can keep that pace for 2, 3, and 4, but I'm saying in spurts. Even Nick Sick was like, "Let's go, man! Let's go, bud." And I felt like he was holding back for whatever reason. Now this could be credit to DDP, because he's such an awkward fighter. Strickland is saying, I'm trying. I haven't seen anything like this. I'm freaking trying. The 5th, he's like, all right, now I got it, maybe. So if in the rematch we'd hear a different story, see a different story. But as a big Sean Strickland fan, that's why this one's tough to call. I told you I would not bet on this fight. I picked Strickland. The reason I picked him is I did have some questions about DDP's cardio. I thought if it went past the 2nd, that Strickland was going to be able to just swarm him with his cardio and take over with the volume. But DDP was like, nah, fam, got this nose right. And, so I don't know what it is. I like to hear what Sean Strickland says. The headbutt thing doesn't really work for me, but I would like to know where he's at mentally inside that octagon. Even his demeanor, it didn't, like in the Izzy fight when he's like, come on. Remember when he's like kicking him, he's like, come on, dude. Where's that? Where was that, bro? Where was that energy? I didn't see, it just never clicked. All this trash talk and all this, all this stuff he says and all, I just never saw it translate on Saturday night. The switch didn't turn on. I didn't see that relentless kill or be killed attitude that we love Strickland for. Again, this could all. If you ask him, he'd be like, "Yeah, dude, you fight DDP. It was awkward as hell. He's throwing these bombs. He's whiffing. You know, he missed a ton. I'd like to see. Have we seen a fighter miss more shots in a title fight than DDP?
That was fun to watch, though. He looked like he was going to fall down every time he punched.
Wild, but he doesn't.
No.
It works for him. Technically, again, it works for DDP. From a technical standpoint, you're like, what is this? So, if you go back, you watch like Izzy Whitaker, the first fight, the second fight. You watch a Izzy fight against Alex Pereira, the first fight, second fight, and then you compare that to DDP Strickland. It's just a different product. I'm not saying it's worse. I'm just saying as far as like tip of the spear, world class striking, it's just different. Not saying DDP or Strickland is not that, but it's just different. It's just different. The UFC is in a win-win situation. Strickland now is a guy where it doesn't matter if he has the belt or not, if he's world champion or not, he's still a massive star. People didn't like Strickland because he's a world champion. People like Strickland because he's outspoken and he goes against the grain and he says things that a lot of people are thinking and would never say, and he doesn't get in trouble for it. So he has that momentum on his side. Those people are going to ride with Strickland if he went 0 for 4 in his next 4 fights. He does not need a belt to get the views that he's getting. So UFC's good there. DDP versus Izzy is the fight that they could make that would get the most traction. Does it happen at 300? I don't think so. From what I hear, Izzy's not going to be ready by 300. He obviously wanted that long break. So I don't know if they get that. Hamzat's down. He's tweeting out. Now, I thought because of Ramadan, Hamzat was out. But he's the one tweeting like, feed me. Feed me, Seymour. He wants it. Based off what we saw on Saturday night, does anybody think that DDP would beat Hamzat, Izzy, or Bo Nickel? Anyone in here? T? Tiger? You got Hamzat or DDP? DDP? Okay. All right, so you got one
I'm
guy.
with Tiger. I mean, I think it's possible, yeah.
Oh, of course it's possible.
I mean, so
It's
I'm
MMA.
not saying it's like a landslide by
No,
Hamzat.
I also got questions on Hamzat after that Kamaru fight, and the issue is you're giving Hamzat a title fight in middleweight, and he really has one legit victory in middleweight division. Kamaru Usman doesn't count; he's a blown up welterweight, so you give him a title shot. It's just a hype with him. But I thought Hamzat was even an option because Rogan brought it up on the companion. Went, you got Ramadan. He goes, damn, yeah, he's out. And I was like, yeah, he's out, Ramadan. I think the funnest fight to make for me would be Hamzat, DDP, for 300. That's a good main event because they're sitting on two, and I think Dana says he's going to announce the main event this week. They're sitting on the big announcement for 300. Have I heard what it is? Yeah, I have.
Have you?
I can't.
Come on, just tell us.
It's not what I do.
Come on.
I can't.
Come on.
People told me and said you can't say anything, and that sucks for me.
What if I'd
love to break news?
What if I just say things and then you nod or
Wink.
Nah,
Yeah, don't. Yeah.
because those people stop sharing info with me. But I could see Hamzat DDP happening, especially since Ramadan's not a thing. Hamzat's like, I'll figure that out. I'll fast in the morning, train in the morning, eat at night, and recover. But I would say whoever DDP faces in his next fight, he's an underdog. Doesn't mean he can't win him. I'm not saying that. Doesn't mean I don't like DDP. I think he's fantastic, freak. But if you line up Hamzat, Izzy, or Bo Nickel, which, I mean, the question, he's not getting a title shot. But if, let's say, they were to get a wild feather up their ass and do it, I think DDP's an underdog in his next fight, no matter who it is, including Sean Strickland. He'd be an underdog. Like I said, win-win for the UFC. Sean Strickland's still a massive star, still getting Conor McGregor numbers as far as content goes. Nobody else is doing that. Sean Strickland, whether you like it or not, as far as kind of statistics go online, if you have the guy on the show, you talk about him. We haven't seen these numbers since Conor. Anik said that, and we see it here. Everyone sees it. His social media stuff like that. He's probably which is crazy. He's probably the UFC's biggest star right now.